I'm going to show you a semi-in-depth tutorial on how to make these lemons. I'm using lemon molds, but this technique applies to other ones as well. Of course, you need melt and pour soap base, and I'm using detergent-free white for the first layer. I like to pre-chop my melt and pour soap base so it's ready to go for my projects when I need it. I will usually pre-spritz my mold with my 99% isopropyl alcohol. You can find that at the grocery store. To put down my white layer, I am using this pipette that I got online. I try to avoid using single-use plastics for my soaping as much as possible, but for this portion it's unavoidable because I really needed that small pipette end. You have to be careful that the melt and pour is not too hot because you'll melt the plastic of the pipette. Ask me how I know. I'm going through and drawing in the pith part of the lemon mold with that white soap base. I spritz it with a little bit of that alcohol and I'm going back and popping those air bubbles. It is a little bit extra to go back and put in that white soap to create that pith layer, but I think to give it that realistic look, it's necessary. I'll set that aside to cool and then I'll clean this up. Unfortunately, I have to throw away the pipette. You can't use it more than once, and then the soap will just peel out of that silicone beaker once it's cooled. If there's any white portions of soap that got in the wrong spot, you can just peel that off once it's cooled down. Now it's time to make the yellow part of the lemon. I have some yellow soap base that I had already pre-colored. I'm going to add a little bit more clear to it. Since I added in more clear soap base, I need to add in more yellow color too. I added in a tad of yellow mica and I'm spritzing that with my alcohol. I find that spritzing it with the alcohol helps the mica distribute evenly through the soap. The 99% isopropyl alcohol helps to break the surface tension, so I'm spritzing that before I place in the yellow soap. Again, I don't want my soap to be too hot because then it's going to melt that first layer, and just doing a final spritz with the rubbing alcohol to break bubbles. In my house, I keep it kind of on the cool side, so this will set within a couple hours and then it's easy peasy, you just pop them out. If you thought the tutorial was helpful, leave me a comment and let me know what else you'd like to see me describe.